Jean-François, first let me begin by asking you, you texted me this yesterday. I said, how was your first smoked meat sandwich at Snowden Deli?
It was so good that
Excellent.
I'm going back with my kids pretty soon.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's good there's good news because you've never been there, and we were very
Well,
excited to see you there. So,
I was a Schwartz guy,
yeah.
and I still like Schwartz, but now I'm gonna divide my
Hey,
loyalty between the two.
ça commence. All right, let me get to it. A couple of stories in the news today. So, the International Trademark Association is weighing in on Bill 96, something that came up. I think goes back a couple of weeks ago. Which basically has the government suggesting, you know what, we'd like to see appliances, for example, come from the factory with French already on them, to which the association says, yeah, that's not workable. We already provide you with a template. You can put on the French sticker if you want. What do you think about this? Is this a step too far?
Well, the good people at the International Trade Association are paid to make sure that they lower costs for their members, and they look at regulation all across the world and say, well, that's a bad idea. Any regulation is a bad idea. It's going to cost so much. Oh my God! How can you even imagine that we would do that? And they do this for security. They do this for stickers, the amount of information they have to provide. That's their job. Their job is to say no. And then when people say, "Oh, well, you didn't think about it," international. Oh my God! If it's international, we won't bother you with that. So I told you this story in the early '80s. The PQ government got it in its head that people should be able to watch American movies in Quebec cinemas in French on the day of their release in English, which was not the case at the time. And Jack Valenti, the former advisor to Lyndon Johnson, was the head of the movie association, and he said this couldn't be done. We're going to translate our movies in French at the same date as our release in English. Listen, if you keep up with this regulation, Quebec, we will boycott you. And you know the Star Wars movie that you had last year? Well, there's a new one coming out, and you won't have it. But Quebec didn't back down, and they pressed on, and the small Quebec market, 6 million people only, was still big enough for the movie accountants to look at their pre-production and post-production processes and say, hey, that's not that difficult, so we'll do it. And they did.
So you're saying so can the producers of these appliances?
Most probably. But the worst possible thing for the PQ government, the CAQ government at this point, would be to back down. To say, okay, where's the beef?
But
show us that you would be so hindered that you would be outmarketed. And if that's so, well, maybe one of your competitors will say, well, we respect the Quebec market, so buy our product instead. So competition is a great thing.
And, I mean, hypothetically, let me ask the question then. If that could be done, but yet it would mean that prices would have to go up, would you still be supporting that?
Well, let's see. If it's so cumbersome and it's $5 more on the refrigerator, and the other company says, "Hey, listen, I'm going to sell. I'm going to have a workaround, and I'm going to sell for less." Well, that's competition, you know. So let's wait and see.
Okay.
Stay firm.
Okay. And you gave the example of the movies, and I think that's a good example. I know you brought that up before. Let me ask something else. I saw Jean-François Lisée was on TV yesterday in French, kind of on the same idea here, and saying that I think the question to him en français was something along the lines of, you've been ridiculed by some for suggesting that we need to have like stores, businesses, right, describing their business. So like Canadian Tire would have to say en français, I don't know, pneu? Ooh, I'm not sure what it would say. Is that something you support as well?
Well, when you have come up with an idea so subtle and rich and nuanced as Canadian Tire for a store that doesn't sell only tires and doesn't sell only Canadian tires, why would you feel that it's a great invention? I mean, this is a dumb name in English. In French, it would be Pneus Canadien. that would be ridiculed as a new name. So let's say you would want to have more clients, which basically is the business model for most enterprises. And you say, well, in Quebec, I will do what Staples did in Quebec and rename my brand Bureau en Gros, and I will show that it's for respect for my clients, and maybe I'll gain a 5% market share. You're willing to kill for 5% market share growth in the retail business. I don't even know why we're discussing this.
I guess because Canadian Tire's been around for a long, long time, we just assume, certainly we do on the Anglo side, that we know what it's about. You go there to buy whatever you need, not just tires, obviously. Yet you would say that's not good enough. Let's change it, like Staples did, as you said, to Bureau en Gros. That you want to see that happen to all businesses?
Well, I think it's a good business decision when you're in an 80% francophone market that is sensitive to language to say, how much more profit can I make if I tell my customers that I respect them? That should be the only question. Okay. If you want to make money for your owners, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was disrespect that forced them to go with a name. I mean, that's what it is. That's the business across Canada. What would you rename Canadian Tire?
Well, I don't know. I mean, let's do a campaign. Rename my brand, and let's give $1 million to the winner, and let's make a big splash out of it. Let me give you another example. This is market failure. Toys R Us. How much money did they pay the Madison Avenue company to come up with a play on words that 5 years old can understand? I don't know. But when they went to other markets where 5-year-olds do not understand your name, why don't you pay an extra $100,000 to have a local advertiser tell you a play on words that will work for the kids who only speak French, who only speak Spanish? And so I'm telling you, it's market failure that they haven't done this at the beginning.
So if I extend that, you'd say every other country that has a different language, if these stores do business in that country, they should change their store name, their trademark, to accommodate that particular country, that particular language.
If they want to make money, yes.
Got a feeling they're making money anyway, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but they want more. That's capitalism. You always want more.
Okay. Fair enough. Just trying to understand this. Someone did point out, by the way, I got a text saying, by the way, here's another example, right, beyond the one you just cited for Bureau en Gros. Someone said Mark's Work Warehouse in the rest of Canada is L'Équipeur in Quebec. So there's another one. Okay.
Yeah. But you know that cornflakes, which is in the U.S. and Canada, cornflakes, and in Quebec, cornflakes, is something else in Mexico. They decided that for Mexico, they would translate it in a nice Mexican brand that I now forget, but I've seen that at the time.
Okay. Well, maybe this is where it's going. I don't know. We shall see. I would ask you really quickly before we run out of time, Christian Dubé taking a bit of heat today. We had a story of a 73-year-old woman who died in a bathroom at the hospital in Joliette after waiting 17 hours. And his answer to that when it was brought up was, these mistakes happen. I'm curious what your reaction to that was.
I heard him. It was part of his answer. The rest of his answer was that it was not acceptable, and we would see what happened in the triage, and there was a problem with the triage. But you never say, this happens when you have a tragedy like this, and you're ultimately responsible for hospital. You don't say that. I'm pretty sure he's going to apologize tomorrow, because even though it's true that these things happen, your job is to make sure that they don't.
Fair enough.